This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn. He's the guy in the red shirt and the white beard. That's not Santa Claus. And his cohort, John DiNallo. And it's Tuesday afternoon, and we're going to have some fun today.
I sure hope so, Karen. After that great introduction, it's not Santa Claus. That's my new motto. I'm not Santa Claus. Okay, geez. I dug this shirt out. I knew I had some more shirts in my closet, and I got tired of wearing the same colors all the time on What in the World, because everybody wants me to look good.
Absolutely.
Yep. Oh yeah, they must do screenshots of me and put me on the dartboard or something. I'm not sure what exactly.
It's all
what I'm ending up.
It's all part of our act, I think, Paul.
I think so, John. Yeah. Either that or they're after you with your various Cleveland sports paraphernalia on. John has got his baseball cap on, which is for the Guardians, although you wouldn't be able to tell because it's got a C on it. Is that correct?
That's right, Paul. It is still C for Cleveland, but truth be told, this is the first article of any type of Cleveland Guardians gear that I've ever worn in my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, well, Cleveland Indians Cleveland Indians gear I've had for 60 plus years, but my brother got me this for my birthday, so
okay.
I'm breaking it out now, and I have not been to a game yet this year, but I still watch them on TV and still support them. But so anyway, there's always a story behind.
Thank you. I will do a shout out to Bob, John's brother. Thank you for making him look better for the show.
If that's possible.
All right. Well, anyway, after that little deviation there, a little Guardian deviation, let's get back on track here. This is What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. Our motto is real news, sometimes strange, always funny. I'm your host, Paul Seaburn. I am the editor and head writer at mysteriousuniverse.org, and also purveyor of various funny things on my Facebook page, where I test out a lot of these strange stories. The voices you hear in your ear, or if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for doing that. The one voice, the one non-male voice there is Karen Hale, our media mogul, co-host, producer at newclevelandradio.net. That is her platform. She has some great podcasts on there besides What in the World. So check us out, What in the World, newclevelandradio.net. You can find me real easily, and then once you've had your fill of listening to us, check out some of Karen's other podcasts. Also in your ear today is our co-host, color commentator, and host of What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo. John DiNallo. Hey, John.
Hi, Karen.
We've already heard from you, so we're done with you, John. We'll be back.
I always know where my place is. I always know where my place is, and it's good for me to know bad.
John, this is a show for you. We're going to get right to it. This is every week we come to you with the odd, the weird, the strange, and hopefully the funny. We try to, as much as we can, stay away from the other news. The political, the business, the religion. We don't talk about any of that kind of stuff. We just want to have fun. Listen to us. If you don't like one story, hang around. There'll be another one in a minute or two. Some great stories today, right up John's alley. John is a big fan of Bigfoot. I've got some good Bigfoot photos for you this week, John.
Looking forward to it, Paul. I mean,
one from Chicago, from Illinois, right?
Really?
A couple states over from us. And I'm going to say this up front for those of you listening. I'm going to be showing on YouTube, and so this is always a good plug for viewing us on YouTube. The best Bigfoot photo I have ever seen. And I've been doing this for over 10 years now. Best Bigfoot photo I've ever seen. So I know John will be all excited about that. We also have some lake monsters, not the Loch Ness monster, but one from British Columbia and another one from Idaho, of all places. And I have photos of those too as well. So this is a big monster week at What in the World. We love talking about food. I've got the world record largest turkey bacon. We'll be taking a look at that. That's from Pennsylvania, right next door to us. this was the most popular one of the most popular stories I've ever had on Facebook. The strangest ramen noodle dish from Taiwan. Wait till you see this and hear about it. It's unbelievable. And then I know John, I hate to step on John's sports, but occasionally I find some sports on my own. This one is from Spain. This is the world's strangest runner. And wait till you see this, John. It's
Oh, it sounds great. Yeah.
you will be in pain just watching this guy.
Okay. Okay. I'm forewarned. And so is everyone
There
else.
you go. We got some more news. We've got some more world records. John's got a great sport for us this week, as always. Another weird sport from Wales, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Before we go, we always wrap up the show with everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the Co-host. Oh, everybody loves Bluff the Co-host. I think people are wagering a lot on Bluff the Co-host. I've been getting feelers from Vegas. You know what's going on there in Cleveland with this bluff something. You know it. So I hope they're not losing. I don't want to get my kneecaps busted because you guys are you're not paying your
you want to be
gambling
involved with the wrong people, Paul. None of us want to be involved with the wrong people at this stage, anyway.
Oh yeah. We love our listen. We do. Excuse me. I'm getting all choked up here. We love our listeners. Those of you who are with us every week, those of you who we love to do shout outs to. In fact, I think I got I've got some shout outs coming up later in the show. But we're so grateful for you listening to the show, watching us on YouTube, whatever, however you listen to us. Thank you so much for doing that. Tell your friend, like us, follow us, and do all that great stuff so we know that you're there. I'm on Facebook. You know how to find me on Facebook. So let's get right to. I'm going to start with. We're going to ease into the monsters here with a couple of food stories. We love doing food stories, strange food on What in the World. So here's our first one. This one comes from Pennsylvania, from God's Hall. Maybe it's God's Hall. Quality meats. It's good if it's got quality in the name. God's Hall Quality Meats in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Have you ever been to Lebanon, John? You're a traveler.
Yes. No, I've never been to You're talking about the country, Lebanon, correct? Not Lebanon, PA.
No, the city of Pennsylvania.
No, never been there. Never been there. Although my first boss was from Mount Lebanon. I don't know if that's near there or not. It's the Pittsburgh.
It's higher.
Well, go figure that.
Okay, that's what you're going to expect today on What in the World.
Real a minute.
Karen, have you been to Lebanon, Pennsylvania?
I've been to Lebanon, Ohio.
Lebanon, Ohio. That's another one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But Lebanon gets around, boy. For being a country in the Middle East, I think there's a lot of Lebanon in the United States. I'm not going to ask why. I think I can figure it out. Let's get right to the story here. So the God's Hall meat in Quality Meats in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, just set a world record for the world's largest, and I probably should say longest, and I'm sure widest piece of turkey bacon. This piece of bacon, they prepared it and they cooked it. It was over 17 feet long.
Wow.
Took them an hour just to unfold it from the little package that it was in. No, they made it themselves. Are you a fan of turkey bacon, John?
I have to go on record as saying I am not.
And are you one of those people who refers to it as fakin' bacon?
Yeah, I'm in that camp. I'm strongly in that camp. And some of the other people in our family, they extol the virtue of the turkey bacon, but I'm not one of those. That's
right. If you're either a lover or you're a hater.
I'm in the hate category on that.
Yeah, kind of like vegan bacon. That's another one, vegan bacon.
Oh, boy.
Which is also known as greasy cardboard. So that gives you some idea of my opinion of it. Although I have eaten turkey bacon. If I had a choice, I go for the real thing. So anyway, Ron Godsall, who the company is named for, he's the president. He said that this turkey bacon cooked for more than 6 hours in their smokehouse oven, which is 25 feet long and 10 feet wide. What do you need a 25-foot long oven for, except to make a 17-foot long piece of bacon? maybe if you're grilling python, I don't know. It's
Or maybe he's just
17 feet.
maybe Paul, I'm sorry, maybe he's just going to be grilling a lot of food. Maybe he uses that big
It could be. It could be. It's a smoker. It's a smoker. So it's
smoker,
got
I should
heat.
say. Yes, you
Yeah,
smoke
smoking a lot of stuff. Yeah. This was to celebrate National Turkey Lovers Month. So they made it. They cooked it. Then they broke it into smaller pieces and they served it at a BLT luncheon at the store. So I thought that was kind of nice. Then they donated the rest of it to the Lebanon County Christian Ministries. Now, I want to point out that they could have donated it to some other ministry because turkey bacon is kosher. So, could have pretty much donated it to anybody. I think anybody would pray and then eat turkey bacon. So anyway, so that's one of that was the most. Oh, I think I have a photo. I apologize here. I'm so busy getting excited about this turkey bacon. There you go. There it is right there.
Wow.
The world record, 17 foot long. Yeah. It looks like it's about 2 feet wide.
Yeah,
and
sure. So how did people eat it, Paul? Did they cut it up or what? How
They
did
cut it up. Yeah, they cut it up and put it on sandwiches with tomato and lettuce. Those are the L and the T.
Okay.
I would imagine they had a couple hundred loaves of Wonder Bread because that's what you put the BLT on.
Of course.
Sure, you got to be
yeah.
Wonder Bread. Mm-hmm.
And some
Big
Hellman's
body, 12
mustard.
ways.
That's right. Karen, take note here. If we get any sponsors out of this from Wonder
Oh,
Bread,
yeah.
Hellman's mustard. Anyways, okay. So that was a nice tame story here to get you in the mood for this one. So this one comes from China. A farmer in China claims he successfully bred a hybrid fruit that is half watermelon and half melon. Now, I'm going to deal with your questions on that in a second. But he says that he made it to allow people who couldn't decide to have a little bit of both in each bite, a watermelon and a melon. And here's a picture of that concoction right here. So you can see which side is the watermelon on the left, and looks like a honeydew of some sort on the right. And for those of you who can't see the picture, it kind of looks like two planets that smashed together. Doesn't it?
That's
Yeah,
a good description, Paul. That's a very good description, right?
A collision of melons, they would call this. So he's all excited about it. That you can get two melons in one bite. He's already gotten a cease and desist order from a company that makes smoothie makers because this is taking business away from them. Why would anybody want to mix two melons together in their smoothie maker when they can buy one at the grocery store? And the way he did it, he says he transplanted watermelon seeds into the melon, which I was raised Catholic. I believe that's a sin in the Catholic Church to put mixed seeds like that. I don't know, John, you remember that?
Paul, I don't know. I can't really hazard a guess on that one.
I know it's illegal in a couple of states, but I'm not going to mention which ones they are. Now, I got some comments on Facebook when I posted this that pointing out to me the obvious that a watermelon is a melon. It has melon in its name. But of course, Carnegie Mellon has melon in its name, and it's not a melon.
Anyway, that is true. That is
so
true.
I had to look it up. And technically, that is not a true statement that they're both melons. Watermelon is of the genus Citrulus, which is a form of melon. And regular melons, like a honeydew melon or a cantaloupe, are of the genus Cucumis. So technically they're not, they're of the same big family, but when you get down into specifics, they're not quite the same. So,
wow.
The thing about melons is everybody's got their own way of telling if they're ripe or not. And each melon has its own technique for telling if it's ripe. I can't remember them. I don't know. I was at the grocery store the other day and I saw this guy. He had his ear up to a watermelon. And I said, "What are you listening for?" And he said, "If you hear water running, that means it's ripe." I thought, okay,
gosh.
it's a watermelon. If that's what you want to believe, go ahead.
Wow.
Okay, pizza. We're going to go to pizza now from something healthy to something unhealthy again after we talked about the bacon. So this one comes from Glastonbury, England. Domino's in Glastonbury, England is testing a new way of delivering pizzas. And I'm going to show you the picture right here while we talk about it. So they're delivering pizzas using a guy wearing a jetpack. And on his back, he has a specially made to hold the drop it, and it stays warm while he's flying through space delivering pizzas. The ad for Domino's, of course, says your pizza is delivered in 30 minutes or less, or you're free to climb up on your neighbor's roof and get it from wherever he dropped it. But believe it or not, this was inspired by an Elton John song. So I'm thinking, what Elton John song would inspire something like this? John, I'll leave it to you.
I'll have to say Rocket Man.
Oh no, I'm out of sound.
Oh, can you hear me?
I heard some scratching. Carrie, say something to me.
While I'm talking, can you hear
Boy,
me?
it happened again.
Wow.
I apologize for this. I have no sound.
No, I can hear you, Paul.
Well,
okay, let me get.
We'll cover the show while you leave.
Should I restart? Wave to me. Yeah, let's stop the share here. And
can you hear us now?
Okay, so I have no sound. I can't hear either one of you.
Wow,
so you're gonna.
So I'm guessing it's my fault. Let's restart here, and I apologize to everybody listening. We will be back in 30 seconds.
That's okay, because John, we'll just talk about him while he's gone.
Oh, that's what we can do. We'll get some volume at a time, Karen. That's right.
I'm sure you got good stories from your college days.
Oh, we have. I got a ton. We have enough. Do we have how many hours do we have today to be able to get into them? Oh boy.
Probably not enough, but for those of you listening, we are under a storm watch, so that could probably be what is happening to his internet connection. So we'll just make fun of him when he gets back on.
That's right. Yeah. Well, at least we have to make fun of him to his face, Karen. So
yeah, that's true.
That's
Absolutely.
right. So we're doing the right thing that way, right? Oh Lord.
So those of you who may be listening live. I know Linda's listening live, and hopefully she'll realize what we're going through here. So, and Linda's down in Texas where all the hot weather is right now.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, Paul, join us. Looks like he's slowly coming in.
Yes, his name is up now.
Yep.
Here.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. When I restarted Zoom, but to explain what's going on, when I restarted Zoom, it was installing updates. So it must. I have a feeling that may have been what the cause was. But I've had Zoom up and running a couple of times here recently. So I'm whatever it is. John, say something. So
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, he's here. Okay, great.
Yeah, we were talking about you.
Yeah, that's what I
Only good things, Paul. Only good things, of course. Yeah.
All right, so here's our Domino's guy. Look at, he's delivering to people. It looks like they're camping. And when I go camping, I bring my own food. You make a fire. These people, they go camping, they call Domino's, and this guy comes in a jetpack and delivers pizza to them. This is not camping in my book. So anyways, John, I asked you what Elton John song do you think inspired this?
I was going to say Rocket Man.
Rocket Man would be a good choice. I put myself in this guy's shoes or in his backpack, and if it were me, it wouldn't be Rocket Man. It would be Yellow Brick Road, because I'd be wetting my pants all the way from Domino's to.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay, we got that, Paul. We got that.
I won't go any further than that. Okay, so I, if they want to do it, I think the jetpacks, I saw some prices. It was like $20,000 or $30,000 they had to pay for the jetpack.
Wow.
So obviously, they think they're going to get a lot of publicity out of this. Okay, so now I've got a story to spoil your appetite. This one comes from Germany. So this artist, Werner Hardel is his name. He claims he's the only artist in the world who paints with something other than paint. And what he uses is diluted cow dung that he gets from a local farm.
Ooh.
He says, two bovine bowel movements keep him stocked up in paint materials for a half a year. Now, this guy's a really good artist. Here's one of his photos. If you can see that, this is a cow, a heifer, and it's brown, obviously.
Yeah.
Because of what he used to paint it. I believe this is called the Mona Lisa.
Oh.
Paul, where's your horn at? Where's your horn? Get your
I know. The lovely Donna is going to do some inspecting on the computer when we're done to see if she can modify my settings and get the horn back.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, he says he likes the brown for sepia tones, and I thought, well, why doesn't he use the dung from a ram or a ewe if he wants sepia tones? But I've got another one of his pictures. This one is the Crappellation Mountains.
Oh.
Anyway. So I want to do a couple of shout outs here because my friends on Facebook just went nuts with these photos and with the whole idea of the cow dung paint in general. Somebody, I forget who was, pointed out that, you see painters, they'll take the brush and they'll touch it to their tongue. And I always wondered why they were doing that. And it's to straighten out the bristles. So she wondered if he did that as well. I'm sure he doesn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
No.
These are things to think about.
I know, John. Our good friend Brian, who listens to the show all the time, he says he called BS on this story, which I thought was pretty clever.
Good for you, Brian. Good for you, Brian.
There you go. Amanda, another one of our fans, said the painting really moved her. Holly, who I've known for a while, Holly said it looked utterly ridiculous. So thanks to all of you for your comments. All right, so let's get right to Monster Week. This is, I know John's been waiting for this. Yes. I'm going to start with a couple of lake monsters to ease us into Bigfoot here. So this one's first from British Columbia. This is comes from Shuswap Lake in the southern side of British Columbia. Shuswap is the way it's pronounced, which is basically the same thing that librarians used to do to us if we made too much noise in the library. They would shush and they'd whack you in the face. Right, John? You remember those days.
I remember those days very well, Paul. I was shushed a lot because I couldn't keep my mouth quiet when I was in there.
So this monster, Shuswap Lake, that's the last time I'm going to say that. It's called one more time, it's called either the Shuswap Lake Monster, the Shugamu, or the Shwushwagi. And I'm going to put a photo up here while I describe it for you. I conveniently put a circle so you can find the monster. It's a 25-foot long, legendary 25-foot long snake-like or serpent-like monster. Dates back to the native cultures in Canada. The first modern report was in 1904 by a First Nations tribe member who claimed he killed it and skinned it, and he said it was the size of a bear, but it had flippers like a mole, which that's a weird combination. There's been sightings over the years. It's normally described as a 25-foot long creature, generally with 7 humps, which makes it a 3.5 camel monster. The latest one, this photo that I've got up here is from a video screenshot from a family from Austin, Texas. They were visiting friends in British Columbia. They said they thought it was a whale at first. And then he said it was a big old thing, and then it went underwater. If you listen to the video, you can hear the girl's daughter screaming in the background. He said you could see it go underwater. I got another photo here. This one doesn't have a circle here. Makes it hard to see there, John, don't you think?
Yeah, it's,
If I,
I think I can
if I-
kind of see it maybe to the left of the screen and kind of. in
yeah,
the-
yeah, it's like if I didn't tell you that there was a monster in the photo, you might think it was a wave or something like that. For those
Yes,
of you
yes,
not
exactly
being
right.
able to see it.
Wow.
They looked for boats. They said it was not a boat wake. Now, these are Texans, okay? Here's another photo here. I think this one has it circled again there, so you can see it.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, that helps a lot, right? So these are Texans in Canada. Now, I know I lived in Texas 28 years. I know Texans pretty well. So the first thing they did when they saw it was they opened up a beer and contemplated what they were going to do next. And then they thought they were going to catch it. Until somebody pointed out that they didn't have a barbecue big enough, nor did they have enough sauce to cook it. So they decided just to leave it.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so
Okay.
then monster number one from the Sugar Wap, whatever you want to call it, from British Columbia. Now, this one is from Idaho. Obviously, Idaho has more than just potatoes. So this is from Lake Payette in McCall, Idaho. So for all of our Idaho listeners, now this was I got this from Mix 106 up in McCall, Idaho. Give them a shout out there. So the first part of the video, there was a short TikTok video. So there's a couple standing on the rocks. They were just getting ready to dive into the water when they saw something swimming. And you can see the guy pointing down, like obviously it's in the water. Now, the video is being taken by a couple on a boat. So they were looking at the couple, watching them dive in. Now they're going to be looking at the water, and you'll see the water is churning in this photo right here. So this is allegedly the Charlie monster, Charlie the lake monster, Charlie, Charlie. It's also called Slimy Slim and the Twilight Dragon of Payette Lake. So this has been around for a while. They talk about it. The video shows it churning. You can't really see the body there. This is another one that comes to us from Native Americans. They believe that it was caused by an evil spirit. The big sighting was in 1920. Some workers saw a log in the water, and then all of a sudden the log started moving. I've got another picture of it here. I circled it there. It looks like it's coming out of the water there a little bit. 1944, there were a bunch of sightings. That was a big year. Some people said it was up to 35 feet long. Now, this doesn't look like a 35-foot long monster here, but they said it had a dinosaur type head. It had jaws. It had humps. And it had a shell-like skin, which sounds more like a turtle than a serpent. So again, this is they've had police reports about it. They've got the videos. This is the latest one from 2023. I don't know, John, what you want to weigh in on that one for a bit?
Again, in the category of it could be something, right? I mean, it is an object. It is an object of some kind, but again, it's hard to really say definitively that that's what it would be. I'm
there
not
you
sold.
go. Yeah,
I'm not sold. Sorry.
Well, if you want to take a look for it, look for Charlie the lake monster on the internet, and you can see the video.
Okay.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to identify it one way or the other. Okay, so now we go to Illinois. Now we're starting to get into where I've got some good photos and drawings here. So
Good.
this is from Murfreesboro, Illinois. I'm not exactly sure where that's at, but they recently were in the news because they erected a statue for their monster. So here's the statue. Their monster is called the Big Muddy Monster. Now, for those of you who can see it, the statue is in the middle. Off to the right is a man dressed like the Big Muddy Monster. That's not the Big Muddy Monster himself.
Yeah.
So they made quite a big deal out of it. Went so far as to get a costume to go along with it. So the Big Muddy Monster that they were commemorating 50 years ago this past weekend was when the Big Muddy first came out of the river in town. Now that the Big Muddy, I believe, is the Mississippi, or is that the Missouri?
Boy,
John, do you know which one that is?
No, I'm not really certain. I really couldn't tell you for sure. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll. So, anyways, This is to scale, 8 feet 8 inches tall. That was what it was described as. On June 25th, 1973, a couple were in a parked car on it was the Big Muddy River. I should have known. Okay, that's what it was called. Hoping to what they were doing, and they noticed a foul smell, which is not what when you're on a date and you're about to neck. A foul smell is not what you want to smell. So, the guy immediately said, "It's not me." And then they saw coming out of the water was something that was covered in white hair and mud. And they said it looked like a cousin of Bigfoot, but not because of the white. Glowing red eye scared them enough that they ran away. They drove away and they filed a police report. So on that same day, some other people also reported seeing a monster in the river and got a close-up look of it. So I've got some drawings that they use. Nobody had a camera at that time. 1973, nobody had a cell phone. They estimated to be 7 to 8 feet tall, weighed 300 to 350 pounds, pale, dirty white or cream colored. It stood on 2 feet. It walked towards the one couple, got to be 30 to 40 feet away before they said, "Holy crap," and ran in the opposite direction. They did say they had a musky odor, so everybody said that it smelled. The police chief, Toby Berger, said, "2 people, I got to go investigate it." 2 different sighting. So he took a posse, direct quote, he took a posse and search dogs, and they went looking for it. They followed tracks to an abandoned barn, but the dogs stopped barking and refused to go inside. So they went in, the guys went in, the posse, and they couldn't find anything. So they filed a report, both couples filed a report. So here's the first drawing, John. You're going to love this one. There's the first drawing. What is that?
It just takes your breath away, I think. It just takes your breath away.
It's pretty much, but for those of you who can't see it, it's kind of what your 2 or 3 year old would draw when they first learned how to use a crayon. Draw daddy. So that's what they would draw. The second drawing is a little better. That's this one right here. So this is a much clearer. You can see the red eyes. The creature has no neck. Great big massive thighs, big long arms. It's a good drawing. If indeed this is the big muddy monster. So the story was so big in 1973 that it actually made the New York Times. So for what it's worth, there you go, the big muddy monster. Okay. John, I'm sure you would stand up to that at least for a minute, right?
Yeah, I would think that that's a little bit better. I mean, it's a little bit more of a better caricature, and a little more convincing, I would say.
Yeah. I agree with that.
He also has red eyes, it looks like, right? Am I right on seeing that?
Yeah, that's what they said, red glowing eye.
Okay.
Which, some Bigfoot reports will include glowing eyes. I've even seen photos of what alleged Bigfoot where you could see the glowing eye, usually red, sometimes yellow. But since we're talking about Bigfoot photos, let me show you this photo here. This one has been making the rounds on the internet this past week. So I tracked it down. I've got some information on it, but I want you to take a look at it. This is by far the best Bigfoot photo I have ever seen. So there you go.
Whoa.
Yeah, what we have here, for those of you who can't see it, again, sepia tones like it was painted in with dung paint, but this is a kind of a faded yellowish black and white. No, I guess it would be a color photo of a man standing next to what has to be a 15, 16 foot creature that looks like Bigfoot. Long arms. You can see his manhood. His feet, his feet are bigger than the guy's head by far. Look like small.
His knees are weird too.
His knees are weird too. We'll talk about his knees in a second. He's standing on what looks like a a staff or a crutch or a cane. The knees, they said, some of the people that looked at it said it looked like he may have tumors on his knees. Or it could be that, he occasionally has to go on all fours but he doesn't do it often enough to build up a callus or whatever he might have.
Yeah.
So John, give us some feedback on that. What do you think of that?
I think it's of all the photos that you've shown in the past several weeks, I think I agree with you. This is probably the best. Also gives you a really interesting perspective size wise, right? I mean, if that's an average human, that's an average human there, like 6 foot or what have you. Well, this creature or whatever it is significantly larger and also wider. So it also has a distinctive face. So I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Kind of a, not an apish face, kind of a cross between an ape and a human.
Right. Right.
So facial hair. Again, we've commented before. You rarely see the manhood of a Bigfoot or the womanhood for that matter. In this particular case, you do. Some commenters on the internet pointed out that it was far smaller than they expected it to be. So I don't know. You know what they say? Maybe it's true what they say about men is what they're saying for Bigfoot. If he's got big hands, it means something else. So I don't know. He's got awfully big hands. So
yes, he does. And he has big feet for that matter too. So
huge feet, absolutely huge feet. So I did some research on this, and it turns out the source of this, get ready for this, is artificial intelligence. Believe it or not, this is a fake photo.
Really?
One of the best, I was so disappointed. There was a collection of these photos made by somebody was using ChatGPT and really took a lot of time and with this artificial intelligence program. The other ones are nowhere near as good as this particular photo. But I hate to say it, as good as it looks, it is artificial intelligence.
Wow.
I
know you're disappointed, John.
I am disappointed. I am. I thought we were finally turning the corner here and having something that you could really look at. But okay, so it is.
Well done. That's the challenge that we have here in the paranormal business and at Mysterious Universe. We love to have accurate photos, but this one, unfortunately, as good as it looks, is not. So now the next photo I have is real. And you'll know why I'm saying that once you see the photo. So this one comes from Taiwan. Popular new dish at a restaurant in Taiwan. It's called Godzilla ramen. Ramen is noodle soup. Why is it called Godzilla ramen? Well, it's a bowl of ramen soup, and it has something sticking out of it. That's what it has sticking out of it right there. That's the leg of a crocodile, along with some, looks like a couple of hard-boiled eggs, some mini salad corn, some no noodles. I don't see the noodles. Maybe the alligator ate the noodles, or crocodile, and the chef ripped his arm off for stealing the noodles. So this is the kind of thing that you order when your date says, "Oh, I'm not hungry. I'll just eat off of your plate."
Yeah.
So,
you're gonna rise out of that.
I would order.
You're gonna rise out of that.
I know, crocodile ramen right there. I think, give me a plate of that. Godzilla ramen, it's called. If you want more fiber, they have a couple of variations. If you want more fiber, you get the Mothra versus Godzilla ramen, which has moth in there. If you want the surf and turf, you get the Godzilla, the King Kong versus Godzilla ramen. So you've got the turf, the King Kong, and then you have the surf, the Godzilla. I like alligator. I love alligator, but I don't like alligator sushi, which is kind of what this is. Apparently, it's braised, which I guess means it's boiled. Does not look appetizing at all.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
No. The ramen. I thought ramen was some ancient Chinese or Japanese dish. It turns out this is a 20th century invention. So it was invented in the 1900s, but close to World War II, which may have contributed to its popularity because it killed off all the rice in a lot of places in China and Japan. And as a result, they had to switch to other foods, and they switched to noodles. There was this technique called stretching the noodles, and that's where ramen came from.
Oh.
The instant ramen that we all are familiar with was not invented until 1958, when it just coincidentally another invention occurred, and that was the device for boiling water in a dorm room. Once you could do that, that's what you make. That's what you make with it. So the crocodile leg is an actual crocodile leg. It is from a crocodile farm. Now they only get a few, because crocodiles are pretty big. So they only can serve the dish a couple times a day. A bowl of Godzilla ramen costs $48, and they charge a fee if you don't eat it. Okay, if you just want to buy it and take a picture of it, they charge you an extra fee, as much as $100, because they don't want you wasting their Godzilla arms.
Paul, do you have any information as to how long they've been serving this dish?
Not very long. Within the past year. They're fairly new. Why? Are you hungry?
I'm just curious. I was wondering if it's a big seller for them or not.
I don't know if it's not at $48 for a bowl.
I was going to say, right?
Yeah, not a big seller. Okay, I got one more story here for you. This is my sports story to lead into John's what in the world of sport. Now, this one comes from Spain, and if we're looking at a great big leg right here. Where do you see this guy's leg? So this guy's name is Christian Roberto Lopez Rodriguez, 34 years old, set a Guinness World Record for running the fastest 100 meters in high heels. There he is right there, running as fast as he can. Google him, and you can see a video of him of multiple angles. He has a camera on his chest, which you can see, which is pointing down, point of view of his legs. You can see his legs moving. This a little over 12 seconds to run 100 meters, John, which is barely 3 seconds slower than the world record set by Usain Bolt wearing gold running shoes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the according to the Guinness people, it had to be the high heels had to have stiletto heels at least 2 3/4 inches high and no more than half an inch wide at the tip. He said he thanked his wife for the record because she was pacing him. She was running right behind him, yelling at him for wearing her favorite shoes. So you can't beat that.
Well, a thought that comes to mind though is what but my first thought on this is, why is this guy motivated to do something like this?
Okay, I have an answer for that. What's your other question? What's your other thought?
No, that's really the central thought is, again, what's his motivation?
Take a look at his legs. His legs are massive. I've got another photo of his legs from a front view. I mean, they're not really sexy, even in the high heels. But
he's got muscular definition, though, right? I mean,
it certainly does. He has definition. I don't want to get too personal, but have you ever worn high heels, John?
I can kindly tell you, Paul, and the rest of the world, no, I have not. And secondly, I have not. And secondly, I'm glad that I have not.
I believe when I was a kid, I may have tried my mother's high heels out once or twice. But remember platform shoes when we were in college about that time?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I had a couple of pairs of platform shoes. They gave me a headache because I kept tipping over forward and falling on my face. But the reason why this guy does it, he owns over a dozen world running records. Here's some, besides this one, he has the fastest 100 meters blindfolded, 12.5 seconds, fastest in clogs, another 12.5 seconds, fastest 100 meters running backwards, 13 seconds, fastest 100 meters balancing a baseball bat on one finger, 13.8 seconds. I can't, I'm still in the starting blocks, for three steps out, 13 seconds. Balancing a guitar on a finger, balancing a pool cue 15 seconds. We're on 100 meters. There's a couple more here that are unbelievable. Running backwards, carrying a 60-pound pack, 23 seconds. Backwards on a single leg, okay? Hopping backwards, 24 seconds. He ran 100 meters. And fastest 100 meters in a sack, 25.96 seconds. So that's why he does it, to get into Guinness World Record book.
Wow. Yeah, I guess he's been doing it more than once, obviously.
You know, there's a guy up in Minnesota. I stopped covering him after a while because he's got hundreds and hundreds of records like this. But this guy specializes strictly in running, and I think that's more power to him, I guess. He seems happy. He doesn't look too demented or anything. So
no, he looks like a normal guy, right? Yeah. Oh,
Except
boy.
for the high heels.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
I
Sure.
heal. And on that note, that sports note, we'll slide right into a much better sport than running in high heels, I hope. John DiNallo's What in the World of Sports. Every week I ask John to come up with a sport that fits the theme of What in the World. Real sports, sometimes strange, always funny. And I think John meets that criteria most weeks. It's certainly the strange part. And since I already know what he's going to be talking about, because I've got some photos lined up for him, let me get your photos together, John, and explain this weird sport to our What in the World listeners.
That sounds good, Paul. Thanks again. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, our sport this week is a sport you may have never heard of, but does clearly exist. And the sport is bog snorkeling. You heard that correctly, bog snorkeling.
Okay.
Now, with this sport, the name says it all. And what this sport involves is snorkeling in a peat bog. Now, Pete Bog was not the drummer who Ringo Starr replaced with the Beatles.
That's what I was going to say.
No,
It wasn't Pete.
That's Peter Best, or Pete Best, I should say.
They're Pete Best. That's right.
Pete Best, that's right. But so for our listeners, a peat bog is a wetland filled with damp, dead plant materials. And it is sometimes called a quagmire, which is also an apt description for the sport of bog snorkeling. Let me explain.
Wow.
Let me explain. In bog snorkeling, competitors attempt to swim 2 consecutive lengths of a 60-yard water-filled trench cut through a peat bog while wearing traditional snorkeling gear, a diving mask, and flippers. To make things even more difficult, the competitors must complete the course without using their arms, relying only on flipper power.
Wow.
Believe it or not,
That's hard. That's hard just in an Olympic
it's a
pool.
very, very arduous sport here. So believe it or not,
in a bog. Wow.
yeah. Well, and look at the distance here. This lady's here. You can see again how far the distance is that she has to travel. But those are the rules, and the event must be held for it to be an actual competition, a recognized competition. It must be completed in an actual peat bog. Now, the competitors must
no fake peat bogs allowed. Okay.
Right. But the competitors must wear snorkels, as you can see here, masks and flippers, and most of them, but not all, wear wetsuits.
This guy is a wetsuit. The lady that I showed before looked like she had like conch shells for a top.
Yeah.
I don't think she won.
No,
although she might have won for best costume. I don't know.
I would say very noticeable, though. Very noticeable.
Yeah.
The weather looks awful. These people, look at the people standing alongside the bog. And they're, by the way, for those of you who are not looking at the photo, there's spectators lined up alongside the bog in raincoats, watching these people swim in a swamp.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now, just as it would be in competitive swimming, conventional swimming, the bog snorkelers must swim a length touch the end of the bog, then turn around, and then swim back to the start.
Wow.
As we just made mention of before, they cannot use their arms. Now, this may sound like another one of those weird English pub competitions, but there is actually a World Bog Snorkeling Championship, which takes place every August in the Wayan Rhyd Peat Bog in Wales. Believe it or not, competitors come from Wales, of course, but the rest of the UK, they also come from Australia, Canada, China, New Zealand, Poland, Russia, South Africa, and the United States. For those of you who are wondering, the competitors are real athletes. The woman's world record is 1 minute, 22.56 seconds, set by Kirsty Johnson, and she did that in 2014. The men's world record was set by Neil Rudder in 2018 with a time of 1 minute and 18.81 seconds. Both records were set at the annual World Championships. There are also longer events, which are held in Australia, Ireland, and also in Sweden, like the Bog Snorkeling Triathlon, which, get ready for this, consists of 120 yards of snorkeling, a 19-mile bike ride, and finally a 7.5 mile run. Now, for those who can't complete the full triathlon, there's also a mini bogathon, which is a 60-yard bog snorkel, 2-mile bike ride, and then a 1-mile run. I think that's off to anyone doing any level of the mini or the full-blown one. Now, bog snorkeling is so popular in the UK that the Royal Mail issued a stamp commemorating the sport in 2019. Now, believe it or not, bog snorkeling is growing in popularity. Now, if you can't talk about your husband or boyfriend out of trying it, at least make them watch The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Could be a good deterrent there, is what I'm thinking.
It looks gross.
I think you're right. I mean, it is. It's a lot to put up with, obviously. I mean,
Yep.
as I said earlier, they are athletes, right? But they're putting themselves in these adverse conditions, I guess, because of the competitor in them, right?
Wow.
They feel they can do it, and they're motivated to succeed, and therefore, I should say swim on, but flip on, I guess, is the more apt term.
Wow. Oh, we can't hear you, Paul.
Yeah, Paul, we can't hear you. Can you get us back? Or can you get back to us?
There you are. Nope, we lost you again.
That could be the storms outside.
Yep. And he disappeared.
Oh, hopefully
Almost
he's
like
back there.
almost as good as Penn and Teller.
Yeah. Oh,
I
boy.
guess it was all that bogging,
Yeah, what a weird sport, though. I mean, just hard to believe. No, not so much hard to believe, but again, like you said earlier, the things that you have to go through, right, to be able to participate in it, and hopefully people get enjoyment out of it. Not just only the idea of the competition, right, but they actually get some enjoyment, out of doing something like that.
Well, I hope they get a tetanus shot too.
Oh,
Because
right. Hey, who knows what there could be under in those bogs, right? Oh, there could be
Exactly.
anything going there, Karen, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Now, I remember when we lived in Peninsula, my oldest son and one of his friends went down to the river.
Yeah.
And when they came back up, they were full of not just mud, but a lot of foul smells.
Oh, I bet.
Because
Sure,
people in Peninsula, if they didn't have a good septic system,
Mhm.
they drained into that part of the river.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So
Now, did your son know that going in, or he?
No, he didn't. He was like 7 or 8 years old
Oh,
at
so
the
he didn't have
time.
any idea, right? Right.
And
Wow.
so one of the first things they did after they got showered, they had to go for tetanus shots.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Make sure. Right. Can never be too safe about something like that. Wow.
Absolutely. Well,
Oh,
Paul is trying to join us, guys. He's tried twice and he seems to be off in Neverland. So we'll give him a few more minutes.
yeah. Give him a few more minutes here. Sure.
So hopefully, because we got to play Bluff the co-host.
Well,
and-
Annette and I have been studying all week, Karen. I'm trying to see if I can, be ahead this time. You're doing well lately, so I got to make sure that I can, be able to, keep the standard going here.
Absolutely. Poor Paul, he's off in Neverland.
That's it.
So for those of you who are still with us, we apologize, but you know what? Mother Nature has her own ways of dealing with the internet. So
Yes, and I think that's where we're falling prey to here.
absolutely. So, okay, what's he doing now? He tried
there's
getting in
there's a way.
twice. Okay, we're going to try one more time. Let's see what
Okay.
happens. So for those of you who can't see this, I'm watching the screen where Paul is trying to get in and I keep admitting him, but then he seems to fall off into cyberspace. So. And we could really, say some things about Paul, but you know what? They wouldn't be true unless we said nice things. So.
Well, that's right. That's right, Karen. I mean, come on. This is a very friendly, very good podcast. So again,
Absolutely.
no sense in doing anything other than that.
Okay, see if he comes in this time now. If not, I think he's coming in.
He's coming back.
That was the most success we've had so far.
Yeah, right.
Oh, are you there?
Oh, we
You
still
can't hear
you.
us.
Oh, boy. Oh,
Well,
Yeah. Well.
so he's like a mime.
In a way, he's defenseless, Karen. He really can't defend himself here.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all falling on deaf ears.
Yeah. Well, we can't hear you. No, we can't hear a word you're saying. So we're going to say goodbye. We'll have to do Bluff the co-host next week.
Yeah, we'll just do next week. Yeah.
And just
I can hear you now.
now
you're
you can
back now.
hear us.
Okay,
Oh,
all right,
great.
good.
Well, this is
I was doing a few clicks here on my screen, and maybe that was able to get us
I
back.
know all of a sudden. Okay, so let's do this real quick. Thank you, John, for that sport, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome, Paul. You're welcome.
I had a picture of the champions over there at the end. John and I have competed in a lot of sports over the years, especially when we were in college. And I don't think we ever competed in bog snorkeling.
I'm going to go
I
out and
hope
look at this
not.
one,
I
Paul. I'm going
hope
to say no.
But however, I think that we could compete in it now with your hot tub. All we need to do is put some oatmeal in your hot tub, and we've got a bog, right?
Oh yeah, right. I
Yes.
guess for a definition, by definition, it would be right. Yeah.
That's right. Now, we can also set a world record because I found at one of the bog snorkeling events someone who would motivate us to swim far faster than anyone in that competition.
Who would
Let me
that
see if I can get the picture up here. This is who I would have following us. There you go. It's a bog snorkeler dressed like a Roman Catholic nun. And for people like John and I that went to a Catholic grade school, that would scare the pants off of us, and we would by
Yes, it
far.
would. It would get us motivated. It would get our flippers going.
I love it.
Going.
Exactly. All right. Well, John, again, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Paul and Karen.
I want to thank everybody who has put up with the technical difficulties here. I will have to do some maintenance on my computer and see what the heck is going on here. But I do apologize for that. Please stick with us. We'll have all the technical stuff resolved by next week, I hope. But in the meantime, thank you again for joining us. Thank you to Karen Hale, our media mogul and co-host at newclevelandradio.net. Please check out her platform. Check out all the great podcasts there. Thank you to my old friend, college buddy, fraternity brother, John DiNallo, for his great sports and super commentaries. Sorry to disappoint you on that Bigfoot photo, John, but
it's something. It's always, as we say, a work in progress. It's a work.
I'll tell you what, I'll see if I can get a life-size copy of it. You can hang up in your basement.
Oh, that'd be great. Absolutely.
Very good. It'd be a conversation piece, to say the least.
There you go. All right.
And for next week, I want to remind everybody that Tuesday is the 4th of July.
Right.
So we are going to bring you our show on Friday. And we don't have a time yet. We're still contemplating, but July the 6th will be our Tuesday.
Okay.
July
All right.
the 7th.
So next week,
July
it'll be on Friday the 6th then.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
7th.
So everybody have a happy and safe 4th of July. Leave the fireworks to the people who know how to set them off.